Hello and welcome to part 25 of my Let's Play series of videos for Dwarf Fortress. I'm Sippy Cup. So that last fortress I was messing around with where I showed you guys the irrigation system wasn't really working out too well. Just I think part of the problem was that I was having a hard time finding flux stone, which is necessary for steel production. So yeah, that pretty much wasn't going to be good for the next thing I wanted to show you, which was kind of advanced metal industry slash magma powered buildings. And I happened to find an embark that was perfect for that. So I set out and I knew I was going to be close to a volcano, but what I didn't realize is that my wagon was basically right here, and it turns out that I was literally like on the edge of the volcano. If you can see, again, I started right here and the volcano was literally like a stone throw away. So I thought that was pretty awesome. So before I start showing you around the fortress, I did something kind of funny here. This is basically the lip of the volcano, and I channeled out a couple of tiles just to make kind of like a cool magma fall. And so now all this magma is basically pouring over the terrain. Let's see, what is this? Probably like, yeah, ashes, leaving crazy destruction in its wake. Yep, so there's basically 1 or 2 unit deep magma falls covering all of this terrain here. So that's pretty cool. I thought it'd be neat to have the entrance to my fortress have this big ass magma fall next to it. Anyway, so let's take a look at what I got set up here, because I wanted to show you how to take advantage of magma to make a special kind of building that makes basically the metal industry a lot less of a headache. So let me kind of show you through the fort that what I've got so far, and I'll show you those buildings in a sec. So one problem with this embark is that there's actually very little water. There was just this one tiny little pool up here at the top, which I channeled to make this one underground farm. I can see this being a problem later on, but actually I've got my metal industry really pumping, so what I hope to do is get all non-essential personnel basically churning out tons of iron and copper bars, and once I dig deep enough to get some flux stones, I'm going to basically produce steel at a crazy pace, and I'm going to have a bunch of guys armed and armored in full steel armor, and I'm going to send them down into the caverns and basically just conquer. And caverns are cool because they have muddied floors already, so that's really the important thing for water, other than fishing. But I don't think I'll have any problem with food once I get down in the caverns, and I can keep a unit down there that's armed up. They can protect my guys. So anyway, let's keep going down. So yeah, I've just got a little. This is going to be the future site of my barracks, right here, so that if enemies come in from the top, while there's the farm here, but they'll have to pass by the level that has the barracks on it to get down to the good stuff. So what do we got here? So I tunneled out a bunch of this space here. It's in some kind of, I think it's black sand. Yeah. So what are these buildings right here are the cool buildings that you can only build if you have access to magma. So I basically started the game with the ability to make these buildings, and what's neat about them is that the smelters do not require a fuel source because they use magma. The forge. Actually, I should qualify that by saying that just smelting simple ores like smelting copper or iron or whatever doesn't require any fuel, but the production of steel does require, I believe, coke from bituminous coal or lignite, or charcoal from a wood furnace. That's considered an ingredient, not a fuel source for that reaction that produces steel. So right now I just have guys that are set to do these things here. Let's see, actually I'm going to move this. I'm going to make this more tetrahedrite. Hematite. Oh, this guy. And let's make this guy do more hematite. Yeah, I basically want to turn out a bunch of iron so that once I get those flux stones, I can start turning those iron bars into pig iron bars. Yeah, so then let's see. Here is the way that you have to make these buildings is I kind of wish I had here. So let me show you. Basically, they need to be built such that one of these tiles in the building that has kind of like a graphic on it needs to be right over a channeled out tile where there's lava underneath. So I made these little channels long enough, so I'm going to just go ahead and build another one just to demonstrate exactly what I mean. So basically, let's say I'll channel right. Let's see, it should be about there, I think. No, it should be one more down. That looks good. Okay. So then when the guy comes, I'll show you what I mean. So okay. So I've got basically these channels that I set up, or not really channels, but I dug out these little mine shafts so that they would be below the floor. So basically I've got this grid of 1 unit wide basically magma channels kind of down here, and I let them fill up to a depth of 4 or higher. For the Magma Forge to actually work, it's got to be over magma that is 4 or higher level. So now basically what you're looking at here is there's a hole in the floor that goes down to this tunnel below that's filled with magma. So now I can build a furnace. Let's see, gotta go find furnaces. I can build a magma smelter here. Not a regular smelter, but a magma smelter. And I build it so that just one part of the building is touching this place on the floor where I've channeled it out, and it's over magma. So the way you can think about this is, you're building the workshop and it's right over magma, so you basically have this free heat source. It's hot all the time, and you don't have to burn wood to make charcoal to use that as a fuel source, and you don't have to use coke or anything. It's just always on, and it's renewable. It doesn't the magma doesn't go away. So I can build this guy here and build it out of whatever. And so right now, it doesn't look like it's gonna be over the right tile. Actually, I did that wrong. Yeah, anyway, hang on a sec. Okay, I just had to reposition that building. I just kind of screwed up and made that such that the hole would have been like right here. I just did the spacing wrong. Anyway, so you'll see once somebody gets around to coming and building this thing that the part that I've left open will get covered by these little graphics. You want to be very careful when you're making these forges and smelters not to leave the place where the guy stands. If you notice, your guy, when he's making things, will always stand in the center of the workshop. That is not where you want the floor to be channeled out, because your guy who comes to smelt some ore or whatever will basically fall into the lava and die. So that's bad. So you can see I have a ton of copper and iron bars building up here. Let me pause for a sec. Okay, so anyway, I guess you get the point about making sure you have the hole into the level below in the right place. So just to kind of show you how I set this up down here, I basically dug this tunnel so that it was touching the border of this magma tube here, the volcano. And you need to be able to stop the flow of magma into this this network of mine shafts here. The reason is that pressure will push the lava up Z levels until the level of magma has reached its highest point. So here you see that this is basically the level that the magma wants to rise to, and if you don't stop it, the magma that's down here in these channels would basically come up through the holes I've left in the floor. It would fill this entire area, and it would keep flooding until it got up to here, because of the pressure of this magma pushing down on this magma here, if that makes sense. Anyway, so that's why I built a floodgate out of magma safe materials right here and a lever here. So it's important to make sure that, you know, when you're doing a setup like this, any doors, floodgates, and mechanisms that you use must be magma safe. And you can go to the Magma Wiki, and I believe that URL again is df.magmawiki.com. That's pretty much you know, the central repository for all things Dwarf Fortressy. They have really great info. So there, you know, there if you go do a search for, you know, magma safe, you should get a good list of stones and metals and things that are magma safe and won't melt. If I had made this out of, you know, granite, well, the granite might be magma safe actually, but you know, if I had made this out of some stone that wasn't magma safe, it would just melt and it would defeat the whole purpose of it being there in the first place. And if this door wasn't here, well, it'd be bad times, let's just say that. Anyway, let me pause for a sec. Yeah, alright, so I think that's about all I wanted to go over. Sorry if I'm a little incoherent, I'm pretty tired. It's like 3:43 right now. Anyway, hope that was helpful as far as giving you an idea how to go about, you know, magma-powered metal industry. So feel free to add in the comments if there's anything that you want me to go over. I think that irrigation and this part of the metal industry were two requests that I got a couple of times. So I think that probably I'm getting close to the point where there's not a lot left to cover, and I'm gonna probably just end up playing a fortress the way I normally would and seeing kind of how far I can go. But if people have specific things that they want me to talk about, I'd be more than happy to, you know, try to make it work within the constraints of whatever fortress I'm playing, or I can start a new fortress like I did with this one, specifically for demonstration purposes. Alright, well, hope you guys are enjoying this still, and looking forward to seeing any comments and requests. Alright, thanks.